I'm Marion Mutala, and I'm here with my sister Angie, and we're going to make Ukrainian borscht today from my book, Baba's Babushka's book, Baba Sophie's Ukrainian Cookbook, and it's on page 14 of the book of my mom's recipe for borscht. So, Angie, let's start today, and we're going to start by putting butter in, and it's about 3 tablespoons of butter. We're going to put in our pot. And that's the first thing you do is you put the butter in, and then you put the onions. And you can look for 1 large onion, and we'll cut that right away up, 1 large onion. You can cut it and get the ends off. And then you peel it. And then we're going to cut all these beautiful onions up. And it's usually 1 large onion you put in. And the secret to cooking for borscht especially is to caramelize the onions. So you really want to cook the onions good down so they're caramelized. So we'll put those onions in now in the pot. And you can hear it, a nice sound of the onions cooking. And while we're getting the rest of the onions being cooked, we'll prep for the rest and adding the cabbage next. And you can get a nice beautiful head of cabbage here, and you always have to take the core out of the cabbage at the start of it. So we'll just get this knife here and take the core out. You have to kind of cut it like this all the way around to get the core out. And we're going to use half this cabbage in our borscht. So the core comes out, and then Angie's going to cut this cabbage in half.
And some of them are very hard, aren't they, Mary?
Yes, they're very hard.
Our mother would say, why can't they grow softer cabbage?
So you just peel off the edges of it, and you cut it nice and small pieces. You know, some people like to cook big chunks, but when we made ours, we always like to cut up things really nice and small, in smaller chunks. So I'm just going to stir the onions here. They're being caramelized as we're cooking. Angie's doing a great job cutting up the cabbage to put in our borscht. And like I said, it's about 1/2 of a head of a cabbage that goes in there. So once your onions are caramelized down, we'll put the cabbage in to the borscht. Next, Angie, what do we do next?
We're going to add the beets.
Okay. Now the unique thing about beets, and that's what makes Ukrainian borscht so unique versus other borscht, is they're red. And this is beautiful for making dye for all different kinds of things. You get it all over and it gets really nice and red. We already steam these beets, because once you steam them, it's very easy to peel.
You want to put this in here, Mary?
Yeah, it's very easy to peel the beets here. So you can just peel them. So I've steamed some beets here, and they just peel nice. Otherwise, they're hard to cut the beets off. So we've got a nice little peeling going on there with the beets. And usually you use about 3 medium beets for a batch of borscht. Now my mom used to make a big pot of borscht. She had those blue canners with the white flecks on it, and so her recipe in the book is for 1, but she would probably triple that recipe to make her borscht.
Put that away?
Yeah. So the cabbage is being cooked down, and so is the onions there, and Angie's demonstrating here nicely how to cook and cut the nice beets. And you'll see we'll make them in. Now some people shred their beets, but we cut them into small pieces. There's a million different ways to make borscht, and everyone does it a little different. But this, I'm making the original recipe from my mom, Sophie. So when you put the beets in, you put them in and stir it all up.
And then we got some fresh dill here. And if the dill is big, you can cut it so it isn't quite as big like this. We're putting this right in, aren't we?
Yeah, put it right in right away.
Then I usually put a little bit of salt and pepper now to get the flavor going. So we'll put maybe a half a teaspoon of salt and a little bit of pepper.
And another thing we've done in the meantime is we boil some hot water in the kettle there, and that's you're gonna add your liquid, and so you should always add boiling hot water to your borscht.
It's just quicker, right?
Yeah, but it also makes a better flavor, brings the flavors out. So we're gonna add that now. 1 pot of this, and if you need more, you can always add it later. But usually you add enough to cover all the vegetables in. Okay?
Okay, so we were getting some peas here next, eh?
Yeah. So if you have a garden, you could pick your peas and you could shell them. We already did the peas there for you, and you'll see that you shell them, and then we're going to put those in next. Our peas into our borscht. A lot of vegetables, so it's very healthy and nutritious. And another thing that makes Ukrainian borscht really unique is there's no meat in it. And Ukrainians celebrate Ukrainian Christmas Eve, Sviat Večer, and the second dish that you often serve on Ukrainian Christmas Eve is borscht. And because it's a special meal, they have no meat. It's a meatless evening, so we don't put meat in our borscht. And now Angie's peeling the carrots. So you peel the carrots, wash them, and then you cut them nice and small and put in your carrots. So you're adding your vegetables one at a time to the beautiful borscht there. And then after she peels that, she'll just demonstrate how to cut the carrots here. We always wash our vegetables too.
Put that out of the way.
Yeah. And so you're cutting the carrots nice and small. Again, we like our vegetables cut nice and small.
And so we kind of put them in the way it takes longer to cook or less to cook. Like we could have put the carrots in before the peas, but it doesn't really matter. You can put them in the way you want. So you got the carrots in? And then
yeah, we got the carrots, and the next we'll do is the beans. And the beans, again, you wash them, and then you have to take off the ends for the beans. They each have little ends, and then you cut them up too, again. And Angie will demonstrate how to cut those beans for you. So she's cutting the beans, and I'm going to put some in to our borscht. So you can see this is a very healthy soup. And my mom always said it's calorie-wise too, because you're eating a lot of vegetables. So there you go.
Okay, so then we got, what else? We got the potatoes.
Okay, and now we have the potatoes. And so I have 1 potato here peeled. It takes about 3 potatoes to go in the borscht again. And I peeled one for you to see. And now she's cutting up small, and we're going to put the potatoes in next.
Because fresh potatoes don't take that long to cook. Like the beets take longer than the potatoes. So that's why we're putting the potatoes in last. And basically, if they come to a boil, they're almost ready. Doesn't take them long.
It doesn't take long at all. So you can see this is a very nutritious soup and very healthy. The potatoes all done nice and small and cut up. And then you cook it. But when you're cooking your borscht, you want to cook it so that the vegetables are just done. You do not want to overcook them, because then you don't want soggy vegetables. So just cook it till it's just done. And then when it is done and all cooked, then you get to add vinegar. But you have to wait till the soup is cooled a little bit to add your vinegar. And then at the end, you're going to add cream to your soup. And again, once it's cooled, and then basically that's it, and then you get to eat it. So the soup is cooking right now, and
Bring it over here. Yeah, then you can show.
Once it's all cooked, we have a beautiful pot of borscht ready for you. You'll see there. And we're going to taste that in a few minutes. We're going to get to taste this borscht with sour cream and bread. And, you know, Mom would make a lot of homemade loaves of bread, but we have some rye bread to taste it with today. And you have a beautiful pot of borscht here. Let me just have a little spoon to show you what it looks like. Delicious borscht. There. So it's been a pleasure cooking for you today. Diaco, thank you very much for coming and allowing us to share my mom, Sophie Mutala Dubeck, her beautiful borscht soup.
And you're going to read that poem now while you're waiting to the borscht to finish cooking.
Exactly. We're going to do that. I'm going to read a poem for you from Ukrainian Daughter's Dance. It's called Baba's Borscht, Food for Thought. Smell the dill, vinegar, fresh scent on tongue, fills my nose. Senses alive, invigorating. Time of year, produce from the garden ready, red beets ripe. Picture my mama, up early, box dress on slacks, going to her garden, her store, picks homegrown vegetables, carries them in her Baba's apron and wash tub to the house. Washes vegetables in the kitchen sink, pulls out her white flaked metal blue canner soup pot, starts the endless task, peeling, cutting, slicing, dicing, and more importantly, the red beets, which give Ukrainian borscht its color, flavor. Caramelize onions in real butter. Sophie adds boiling water, salt, pepper, vegetables one by one. 1 cup shredded cabbage, 1 cup chopped potatoes, a half a cup beans, half a cup shelled peas, half a cup sliced carrots, 4 medium-sized diced beets, and sprigs of dill. Biting, delicious aroma wafts and unfolds in her kitchen. I taste my first spoonful. Simmer soup till vegetables tender but firm. When ready, Mama adds vinegar to taste before adding frothy, real cream. Serves it with her homemade bread. Picture my mate, babushka tied back behind her head. Stirring, tasting, pinch of salt, shake of pepper, distinct flavor. Necessary dill and vinegar. Getting it oh so right. Oh so delicious, and yes, it contains and fills my Ukrainian soul. If only I had washed more closely, paid more attention. Perhaps my borscht would taste better. If only I'd asked my mother more questions. If only Sophie was here to make me borscht one last time. If. We're here sampling borscht that Angie and I just made, and it's from my cookbook, Baba Sophie's Ukrainian Cookbook, page 14, if you want to try making the recipe. So Logan's having it for the first time. So Logan, if you pass me your bowl, I'll fill it up with borscht for you. And this is how Ukrainians do it. They fill it up with borscht, just like that. And then at the top, they put sour cream. So they put a dollop of sour cream at the top. And then there you go. And then you have it with bread. And my mom often made homemade bread, but we have rye bread today for you to taste with butter. So go ahead, help yourself to the rye bread there, Logan. And then I'll give Angie some borscht too. And put a dollop of sour cream on there.
Thank you, Marion.
And you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
So have a taste and see how you like your first sampling of borscht.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, really, really good, Marion.
Is it?
It turned out good.
Duzha dobra, very good.
Duzha dobra.
Yeah. Diaco, well, thank you for being with us, and it's been great being with Logan from SaskBooks and
You're
his
very
first
welcome.
taste of borscht.
It is so delicious. Thank
Well,
you
maybe
very
we'll
much.
make a Ukrainian guy out of you yet. Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
I'm here with the Sassy Sisters, my sister Angie and Marion Mutala here, and we're going to play for you a couple Ukrainian tunes, Sistra Oi Sistra and Tom Nahori. Thank you very much.
Thank you.